This is Jonathan Kuttner again. I'm going to tell you about my wonderful dad. He is 92 and he's a great 92. His passion is golf. My brother and I both, he was completely non-sporting. My brother and I both were very sporty, and we came along to him and said we'd like some clubs. So he said, well, what's all this about? Went down as a 40-something-year-old, took a wild swing. The ball just went straight, his eyes went like this, and from that moment on, he's completely captivated. Golf became a focus that was unbelievable. As for those of you who play golf and who understand how this can be the most addictive of sports. So he contacted me, which is very rare. He sent me an email and it said, I have injured my shoulder. That's all. Love, Dad. Oh, now that's very unusual, because normally I'm the one who always has to ring. He just does his thing. So I rang him. We use Skype, which he's got the hang of. And so I Skyped him and he said, well, I was coming down from the ladder. What are you doing up the ladder? Well, I was... So what he was doing was he lived in a house that was falling down, and there was a tree that had grown through the side of where the roof overhangs. The tree had grown right through the roof, and there was a branch, and he was unhappy with this, so he climbed up the ladder with a chainsaw at 91, and he cut the branch. He then, as he climbed down, and of course all his stuff is falling to bits, the bottom rung of the ladder broke, and as he fell, he grabbed hold of a rung and he felt a huge ripping in his arm, which he described to me, and I was thinking, oh my God. And he said, look what I can do. And he couldn't move his arm. He said, I just can't move my arm. Now that history in a 91-year-old is, he's got a massive tear of his rotator cuff, can't move his arm. He said it's very, very sore. So I said, right, this is what you've got to do. Go and see your doctor, get an ultrasound, which will show you, and I said in my head, a massive tear in your rotator cuff. And then you've got a very difficult thing, because how you can go and have it repaired by a surgeon, but there's real difficulties here because of his age. He's otherwise perfectly well. So he looked at me, he said, I'm not interested in seeing a doctor, just give me some exercises. Now I hadn't said to him at any stage, well, I think you've got a huge tear in your rotator cuff and you're probably going to end up with a totally useless shoulder. It was silly thoughts in my head. He said, because I need to get back on the golf course. So I said, okay. So I made up a set of exercises which I attached to an email, and then he started. He started with the complete belief that all he had to do was get the shoulder strong again so he could get back on the golf course. And the fantastic thing is that is exactly what happened. So he started the exercises small, and they used something called a TheraBand, which is they've got different colors of TheraBands. So he went down to his physiotherapist and he said, I want those things. He went home, and every day he would work and work away at it slowly, because he had his focus. He had to get back on the golf course. And he would then start practicing his swing, and he was motivated with flashing lights all around him. After 2 to 3 months, he said, look, I can do this. And in fact, look. And he got over and he gave a little golf swing. I said, Dad, that's amazing. And what I meant was, that is amazing. And he got to the point where he's back on the golf course. He's 92 now, so he had his birthday in December last year. He's back on the golf course, walking around playing 9 holes, pulling his own cart, which has a little engine in it, and he's a happy man. So what the lesson is here is that your belief and your attitude is amazingly powerful in terms of turning on the reason that any doctor, chiropractor, acupuncturist, or any kind of health professional stays in business is that people heal themselves. This is a little state secret, but I'm sharing it with you guys. And so really, I see, as a doctor, as a pain specialist, I see my role as, number one, not getting in the way of the healing process. Number two, helping it in any way I can. That's my job. I think if all practitioners saw it that way, because it's such a powerful thing. And how powerful is it? Well, my dad, and without doubt, when he fell and he felt the ripping and he couldn't move his arm, tore large sections of his rotator cuff, which darn well should not have healed. Yet, not for 1 second did it occur to him that it wasn't going to, and he had this incredible focus. He worked away at it, following exactly what I'd said it was just him, and he did it and did it and did it and did it with the expectation that he was going to get back on the golf course, and sure enough, 3 months later, there he was, swinging again, and just fine. So this is the lesson for everybody. Have belief that you can heal. And if you have belief you can heal, guess what? You will.